right now, I do want to start with a little bit of an experiment. So our discomfort around being on camera is mostly about how we feel, about how we look. And so I want to do this experiment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And when I do that, my face is going to take up your entire screen. And in chat, please don't overthink this. Just say what your first thoughts are. Tell me what you notice. And it can be anything at all. Be brutally honest. You can't offend me. Nothing like that. We want to run this experiment and see what's really noticeable when people are on camera. Are you ready? Get your fingers poised over there to put something into chat. Here we go. I'm about to stop sharing my screen. Okay, so now I am full screen in front of you. Just put into chat what you most notice or what you first noticed in those first seconds that you're looking at me on the screen. What are you paying attention to, or what catches your eye? Madeline, I see the old phone. Great, that was great. That's exactly what I want you to see. Anything else from anybody else that you notice when you're looking at me full screen? What is in your background? So you're ending up taking a look at all the details in the background. Great. Anything else that anybody's noticed? I see the book I'm reading. Thank you, Travis. That's great. You, and then the background object. So anything, Mech, that you notice about me. And again, be completely honest. Anything when you're looking at me that really stands out. And in the meantime, I'll welcome Caitlin. Hi, Caitlin. Hi, Stephanie. Great necklace. Thank you, Madeline. That's great. Okay, so you are professionally presented. Okay, you guys are being really kind, and I appreciate that. So yesterday, when we did this in the afternoon slot, somebody did mention that they noticed my red face. I have really red face, and when I speak and get excited about something, it gets redder. I don't have a lot of control over that. And it was one of the things, I'm going to go back to share here. It was one of the things that made me uncomfortable about getting on camera. So the things that worry me or have worried me as I made this this transition to video is my excessively red face, which I could solve, but I'd have to use really heavy, I think it may still be called pancake makeup, to get rid of this on screen. So my turkey neck, I'm 61, so I notice that when I'm looking in the mirror. My wrinkles, I notice them, and my teeth. So I come from a small town in Northern Ontario, and several things didn't work out around dentistry when I was growing up. So my teeth will never be the meet today's standards of what people smile and gleam with their white teeth. So I'm not going to ever achieve that. So those are the things that I focus on when I'm looking at myself on camera. You did not mention that. Now, somebody did not notice those. Great, great, Madeline. That's perfect. That's what we're trying to help you know, that when you're on camera, a lot of the things that you put a lot of time and effort into really don't matter in the end, that there are some simple solutions. Yes, Anita.
And I just want to point out, I've known you for 8 years now. Mm-hmm. Never once noticed anything about your teeth.
There you go.
8 years, after 8 years and seeing you all the time. I think that's really important too, that even people that see you all the time don't notice some of the things that make us uncomfortable.
Right. So there's lesson number one, and it's a really good lesson, right? And if for some reason, to make yourself really comfortable within this medium, know that you can minimize yourself. So I went full screen. I don't spend a lot of time on camera full screen. That's unusual. Yesterday I did 3 webinars, so I was on camera for 2.5 hours yesterday. Very little of that was full screen. So we can minimize ourselves in a number of ways. You can share data, like you could put up a chart, you could put up a photo, you could put up anything that you want to talk to the other person about. You could have your logo and maximize that and turn yourself into that postage stamp person. So you can do a number of things to make yourself smaller on the screen if that's what's going to make you comfortable. One of the things that Anita and I will talk about, probably we did yesterday, was this idea that you have to start. We started and we weren't comfortable, but we've learned and we keep learning. And once you get started, you will find your own way to be really comfortable with this. And it's so good because you do add facial expressions to your conversations and, you know, sharing data on the screen. So you do have to figure out what you need to really feel comfortable. And my go-to always is eyeliner and mascara. That's my deal. I don't have any other thing that makes any difference at all to me. For other people, it might be lipstick, or it might be being clean shaven, or there's a number of things that you might focus on. I guess I focus on my hair too. I guess it's kind of obvious. So I do pay attention to my hair and eyeliner and mascara. Now yesterday I had left my some lipstick on my desk and I put it on during the webinar and it made absolutely no difference. So, but if it makes you feel more comfortable, then certainly have it on hand. And you can have like a little bag of the things that you need so that no matter what, you can get on camera with a client anytime and feel comfortable and confident in that space. Okay, so let's go over to the marvelous Anita. So as Anita's mentioned, we've known each other about 8 years. I could go on in many ways about Anita, but she does focus on improving everyone's ability to communicate on social. That's one of the reasons why I admire her so much. I know that social is about conversation, and I'm a big fan of conversations, and Anita knows that as well, that social is about conversation. And she is, I did not know this actually, the pioneer of responsible scheduling, which is so important in terms of building trust and building relationships. And she's the founder and creator of Social Media Day Halifax. And it's a full day event, just full of learning and networking and amazing things. She and her colleague Linda Daly have done such an amazing job with that day. If you live in Halifax and haven't been yet, get there this year for year 3. So she's here to share her journey on camera and also talk to us a little bit about something called Flawsome, which I'm looking forward to continually digging into more. So welcome, Anita.
Thank you. Happy to be back for day 2.
Yes, exactly. I'm going to ask you when you noticed that you were suddenly spending more time on camera.
Well, it started in 2014. When there was a platform called Blab that came out in 2014, and it was really one of the first easily accessible ways to go online and start conversations live with people via video like this. And I don't mean one-on-one. I think we had FaceTime long before that. But I mean public conversations where you could just be broadcasting your good old self to the world, and anybody that could find that link could join you. So the platform was Blab, and Meerkat came along very quickly after. And those were the first ones that allowed us to sort of start these online shows, if you will. So after a few months of sort of playing around with it, I actually was running 2 weekly online blabs about social media. Some of them consisted of interviewing other local entrepreneurs to talk about their businesses. And the other was sort of a weekly roundup of what was happening in the social media space with other social media consultants. So I was spending 2 to 4 hours a week on camera, on platform Blab, just hoping that I was building relationships with people who were able to find it. Until Blab, I don't know the appropriate word, they didn't go under, they pivoted, I guess is the technical term. And then we saw the rise of Facebook Live and Instagram Live, and now all the platforms have all these live options. But that's when I started, was in 2014.
Okay. And what was that, what do you remember of that transition in terms of getting comfortable?
I remember going through the stages of, oh my goodness, is that what I really look like on camera? And being concerned about giving off the appropriate image of, you know, what I look like, that my hair, I'm one of those people, my hair is always down. I do not wear my hair up in a ponytail because I don't like my face that way. So yeah, things like that. I noticed that very quickly on camera, that if I had my hair up in a ponytail that day, I didn't like it. Or I had to wear, I'm like you, mascara and eyeliner usually, except it didn't make it that far today. Little things like that you pick up on, and you start to notice, for example, today my laptop is sitting on a box so that the camera is level with my eyes. Little things like that you would pick up so that your videos started to look better. Right. And I just remember going through all of those learning curves and having days where I would just open up a Blab or open up a Facebook Live and get my sister to come join it, or get one of the other social media consultants to come join it, so that we could play with all the buttons and figure out how everything worked, so that when we went live, we wouldn't be testing it for the first time.
And I think that's really important when we look at sharing, being on camera with clients and prospective clients. Make sure that you've done some of your learning curve with someone else. Yeah. A friend or a colleague. It was funny at the beginning, not all of you were here, but Mick started using Q&A here in the webinar platform to send notices, and I had never used Q&A before, so I learned something today simply by being on camera with someone I'm comfortable saying, hey, that's new, etc. So find, I guess, a video buddy if you aren't using it already, really, to test out whatever platform you're using and learn how to use it.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes you much more comfortable when you go online and you know how your screen is going to look and where the buttons are going to appear and how many buttons you have to click to make something happen.
Yes, exactly. And tell us a little bit about now that you've been through that transition, what do you consider? So today, I know you've just moved, but what did you consider before coming on camera with us today?
So yesterday I admitted that I didn't even shower yesterday, because nobody can tell when you come on camera if your hair is brushed. I mean, I consider what you're going to see from here up. So my hair is brushed, my face is clean. Like sometimes I'll do a quick check in a mirror if I've been eating. I usually will have eyeliner and mascara, and that's about it. That's my makeup routine. Yesterday I threw on a white jacket, the one that's on screen. Today I've got a sweater because it's a little bit chillier in my house today. But as long, and just that there's nothing really distracting in the background. Of course, as you said, I just moved. So my office is on 3 sides of me, is just a complete disaster. So all I had to do was clear out, 4 feet of space behind me so that I had a decently professional looking background.
So you were kind enough yesterday to move your camera a little bit to show us where you are. There you go. There's her new office.
My new
with a
office.
Dresser. Yes. There you go. So all of that can be around us, and we can still be comfortable in this video conversation.
Yeah, as long as what's on screen is you're comfortable with what's on screen. You don't have to turn the computer around and show everybody what chaos your office is in.
And tell us about Flawsome, because it's a great concept that you introduced me to a few months ago, and I know you're still growing it. But
so Flawsome is the idea that everybody is flawed. Nobody is perfect. And the idea that trying to attain perfection in anything keeps us in a perpetual state of stress, because you'll never attain perfection. And always chasing after perfection before you can do anything. Have to have the perfect office, the perfect hair, the perfect makeup, the perfect outfit, the perfect whatever, before you can do a video call or do a webinar. For most people, that means you'll never do it. You will never start. So Flawsome is the idea that we realize and we embrace that everybody has flaws, and we're going to do it anyway. You are awesome because you have the flaws, therefore Flawsome.
Well, that's right. And this goes really to using this as a sales and communication tool with your customers and your prospects. We want to work with people who are genuine. And as you're getting to know someone, as you're building relationship, sometimes their ability to know that you're genuine comes from their being able to see that you have a few flaws, whatever those are, or that you're able to live with imperfection. And I'm not talking about not delivering good service. I'm simply talking about exposing to people that you're human.
Right.
And that's where we really build strong relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. Nobody wants to deal with somebody that they think is like their Instagram profile. Like our Instagram profiles, in a lot of cases, are the highlight reel. It's perfection, if you will. But nobody really lives like that. And to get those perfected Instagram pictures, people that are doing that are spending hours behind the camera and hours on editing and makeup and hair, and they have a team of people helping them.
Yeah.
For most entrepreneurs or most salespeople who are working for another business, we don't have those resources or time or energy even to do all of that.
That's right.
And I think people want to deal with people who are real. And it's not that people who do that aren't real, but they're only showing a very heavily curated side of their life.
Absolutely. And so good to combine this idea of allowing your clients to see you, right? To see you. So yes, for years I've been doing this on the phone with the sound of my voice, but I'm so grateful now that I can also add my physical self to those calls. And Elaine's put in chat, done is better than perfect. Yes, it is.
Yeah,
and
one of my favorite quotes.
Yeah. Know that Anita's available. She's been doing a lot of public speaking now on this idea of Flawsome. And I think it's really important for all of us. And I'm certainly hoping that you build that out too to younger generations that are feeling that stress more than we do, I think.
Well, the good news is there's a lot of pushback, I guess, on the idea that everything has to be perfect.
Yeah.
And so we're actually starting to see that clawed back in a lot of social media, and to the point where some people are now creating the perfect imperfect photos.
Good.
Is so wrong on so many levels, but we're clawing that back to try and be more authentic.
Super. Well, thank you. So a couple of more tips I want to share with you. You want to make your clothing decisions easy when you're on camera, and Anita's shared some of her tips using the jacket. I finally figured out I could behave like a television journalist here. So sometimes you've seen them on newscasts as they're finishing, the camera will pull back and you'll see, oh, they had a jacket and a shirt and a tie on, but they were wearing track pants or they were wearing their jeans underneath. So yeah, you only have to focus on what's seen on camera. You can keep it very, very simple. And what I've learned is I have this necklace in my office most of the time to put on over. I'm wearing my favorite sweater. I am home throughout the day working in my home office. So I'm wearing my favorite sweater, which I got at Value Village, I don't know, 3 years ago. My sister found it for me. And it has, I've stretched it all out, and it has a terrible hole in it. But the neck looks quite good. And if I add the necklace, I look very professional. And also scarves or shawls work really well. So in an emergency situation, you can put on a scarf and make it look quite great on screen. So, and I have earrings on as well. So you can do something, figure out what's going to work for you that's quick, that allows you to look professional easily, so you can be having these on-camera conversations more often. That's really my objective, is to free you up for that. And then what's in the background? So Anita is profiling. The simplest thing to do is it's a blank wall. And that's great. What we want to know is that the background can be a distraction. So when I teach, about phone communication, I talk a lot about background noise. If there's background noise, it's a distraction on a phone call. If the background is either too busy or maybe even too interesting, it can be a distraction from the conversation. I have taken online courses with Seth Godin, and he sits in front of 5 or 6 jam-packed bookcases. And because I'm a book nerd, I will get distracted by reading the titles on his shelves. And he actually takes the time to move the books around, so you see different ones in the background. And it's interesting, but it's also a distraction. So make it simple. And actually, Anita, you shared a story yesterday about in your other house, finding a quiet space at one point was really difficult. So you would do it from your bed and use the head of the bed as your background.
We have a very tall headboard on our bed. So I would just go and lean back against that and have that. I mean, it could almost look like a paneled boardroom or something, but
right.
Sometimes that's the only place you have to conduct a call or a video. So I didn't even, once in a while I'd call it out and say, the only quiet space is in my bedroom today, so I'm sitting on my bed doing this. But I also would just admit to people all the time, I get paid to work in bed.
There you go.
And that's where I would work from. So if they called me, that's what was in my background.
Well, and I have clients in very busy offices in cubicles. And they say, well, we worry because other staff walking back and forth can be a distraction. Mm-hmm. And, with distractions, sometimes if you call them out, they go away. So if you are somewhere where a cat is going to make a loud comment or a dog is going to bark or whatever it might be, if you say it at the beginning of the call, then it isn't a distraction if or when it happens.
And the great thing about pets is that people love pets for the most part. So if you say, oh, I'm sorry, I hope you don't hear that noise. My dog is sleeping at my feet and he snores a little bit loud.
Yes.
Been on videos before. People will probably ask you to show them the dog.
Absolutely. And babies are the same. The other thing, if you're really concerned, is Zoom platform, and I'm assuming other ones now will as well, allow you to interact with a green screen. And you can buy a green screen on Amazon. They start at about $30. And you can project onto that green screen any background you want. So I do have a colleague in the Chicago area, and he will project a client's logo on that screen or his own logo on that screen. So he doesn't have to worry about his background at all. I have no idea what his office looks like because I only look at the green screen. So there you go. So if you've got any questions or thoughts, now is a good time to put them into chat, and I'll make sure that we answer all of them. I want to let you know a couple of things. We do have, the Phone Lady does have 2 online courses available now. And as somebody who attends these webinars with me, you do have the access to discounts on these courses, and you'll be receiving that information in an email. That email has probably actually already arrived in your inbox, and that discount is available to you until December 16th. And if you want to take advantage of that, and somebody asked me yesterday if they can share that discount with a friend, and you can until December 16th. It's yours to share. And also you'll receive a version of this slide deck, and I hope it's of help to you, and early bird notices of upcoming events and any other discounts and any new courses. Any tips on lighting, says Elaine. I have played around. I am fortunate, and this is a big room because I have 2 windows. So if it's a decent day, I don't have to do anything. But if it isn't a decent day, I have 2 lights. I have a lamp here, and I have a lamp here. What about you, Anita? What?
Since this is a brand new office, yesterday was the very first time I've tried the lighting in this office. So I'm fortunate to have a decent sized window just about 10 feet in front of me. Having a window in front of you is usually the best lighting you can ask for.
Yeah.
If you're going to work with overhead lights, I do have a ton of overhead lights in this office. Just make sure you're not sitting right directly under a light, because then that creates shadows, and those kind of overhead shadows, they don't make anybody look good.
Right. So I think, again, it's about playing with it.
Yeah.
Right. Figuring out where the lighting is best. I used to have this office facing in a different direction, but I've always been able to have windows in sort of good places to give some decent light.
The other thing I would suggest is to try and get white, like pure white colored lights for the lamps in the room. I have in my other house, I had one incandescent lamp that I used to turn on when I needed it. But I noticed that in comparison to other people on video, I looked very orange.
Ah, yeah.
So definitely try and get the CFLs or the LEDs that are pure white color. Yeah.
And most platforms will allow you to record. And so just as I advise that you record your phone conversations and listen to them to understand how you use your voice, do the same with videos and take a look at how you're interacting with the camera and how you look and what you might need to change. Mm-hmm.